Hello and welcome back to another episode of Hooligan's Pitch. As always, it's me, Chad.
Hey, Michael.
Michael, you sound far too excited for how this weekend went.
Chad,
for you.
that's because I got two beers next to me today.
Oh, good. You're fully prepped, coping well. I see.
We're trying our best over here, but again, it seemed like everyone kind of had a little depressing weekend, and so I'm not saying it could have been worse because this was definitely a new low, but it's kind of just laughable at this point because, I mean, this is what I expected. Maybe not a 3-0 loss to the Wolves, but like it didn't surprise me in any way, shape, or form. Especially to get us started with an own goal. I was like, love it. Like, here we go.
Yeah. So, I mean, everyone welcome to the support group for this weekend of Premier League, you know?
Today's therapy day.
But I guess since you got two going over there, what are you working on now? What's in line?
We're starting off with the closest thing I could find to Pliny. It's Piney River. So, I'll make do with what I got. And then, believe it or not, Sudwork Brewing out of Davis, California is huge out here. So we're rocking with good as Newt, because that is what Liverpool should be doing for the future, is be as good as Newt. Look at that. He is chilling, man. So that's my attitude for the next 4 months here.
Cool.
Just going to sit back and, all right, let's get it done.
Just let it play out, see what happens.
Yeah, it's kind of depressing.
All right. Well, I got a Sacramento staple today, the Track 7 Panic. Yeah. Delish.
I will say there is a brewery out here that is totally ripped off Track 7 called Seventh Boulevard, something along those lines, and like the logo's the same. It's all the same. So don't know who copied who, but that's what I've noticed.
Yeah, interesting. Okay.
Also, my chair just kind of got messed up when I was showing you how depressed I was, and I'm trying to get it back, and I don't know how. So my posture is going to be a little off today, but that's okay. The mic still works, and that's what's important.
Yeah, exactly.
Man, where do we start? Should we start with Chelsea and Fulham because they had a pretty terrible start to our weekend?
That's fine. I'm just going to preface this by saying that when I was going through my notes, completely forgot this game happened.
Oh, okay. Well, I watched it. It was as sleepy and boring that a 0-0 game could get. Chelsea, in the last 2 games now, hasn't scored a goal. Fulham, the last 2 games, hasn't scored a goal. You would think these teams would come out a little more aggressive, a little bit more risk-taking, because, to be honest, the start of the new year, we don't maybe have to blame Fulham as much because they didn't spend $500 million on a brand new team. But for Chelsea to come in here in this game and do nothing...
And they were at home, right?
Yeah.
I mean, like you spend, even a tenth of that money on some players, and you're expecting a decent performance, especially against Fulham. Like, it is a rivalry game. Like,
Fulham's above them in the table right now.
No, I get it. Like this year for sure, but historically, Chelsea has been the better side. So I mean, I don't know. This Chelsea team right now feels like this weird, kind of like mismatch of players and I don't know. They don't necessarily fit what the coach wants or the tactics or something. And it's early days with all these players, but I mean, we've kind of seen the same thing with Nottingham Forest, right? Where it's like there's just so many players and so many changes from week to week that they have kind of struggled to find consistency.
But with Forest now, they seem to be looking better, especially seeing Willy Bolly in their back line. When we saw Cody and him at the Wolves, that was a strong back line. And that's a big reason why the Wolves were as high as they were in the table, I believe, because that back line was so strong. So maybe having some veteran leadership back there has changed the mentality a little bit, because before him, that back line was pretty young. And again, like no team chemistry at all to start the season. And now they're at least getting victories despite how, maybe not as pretty as they could be. But Chelsea
Yeah.
just brought in a whole new squad. This is going to take time to gel. They're not gonna come in and like outperform other teams based on team chemistry. They got to do a lot of other things. But just to go back on them, having a whole new team for this year. You can do this in baseball, which is their owner. He owns the LA Dodgers, and this is the exact same thing the LA Dodgers did. They bought essentially a whole new team. But with baseball, you don't need team chemistry. It's as much as a team game as it is individual. You know, my status at the plate has nothing to do with your status at the plate. Sure, when they get on the field and have to play defense, that matters a little bit, but again, not as much. These guys, like, I'm curious if there's a language barrier going on to get started. Like, so many players from all over the world are coming into this team, and it's going to take time. So,
yeah, I mean, yeah, it's definitely, they're setting up a project, but let's see if they want to see out that project or if they kind of take the typical Chelsea route. And when things start to go bad, all right, ditch that manager and find the new one. And I don't know. Potter hasn't really shown too much of like progress or a vision, I'd say.
Dude, that man is losing sleep.
Yeah, he's looking rough. Yeah, so I don't know. Maybe he's not the guy, and maybe they can bring in someone else. But at a certain point, like,
could you imagine if he wasn't the guy? What would he do? Start over?
You got to, right? Like,
yeah, that's brutal.
I don't know. It's just, I don't know. It takes time, of course, but
who do you think had more chances that game on goal?
Oof. I'd give, I think, just a slight edge to Chelsea.
Fulham had 4 shots on target. Chelsea had 3. Guess who had more shots in total?
In total? Probably Chelsea.
Yeah, they had 13.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of been part of their issue, too, is like, as much as creatively they've struggled, they just can't get shots on target.
Nope. So, again, that was a pretty boring game. There's not much to... I mean, we don't need to go into depth there. We've talked about Chelsea so freaking much these last 3 weeks. They've been the headline of every freaking transfer. And for them to start everyone except... Well, not start, but play everyone. I'm trying to think of a big name who we didn't get to see on the field with them. But we saw kind of everyone. Mm-hmm. So, yeah. Questionable what they're going to do in the future. Poor Ziyech, man. He wanted out of there so bad. And then they messed up his paperwork. Come on. Are you kidding me?
Yeah. I just don't understand how any of these transfers that we hear like that fall through because of this. How can that happen in this day and age? Like, technology has come so far. Yeah, like, why? First of all, why are we relying on scanners and fax machines at this point? Like, you can e-sign anything these days.
To just text them.
Yeah,
like put it in text. It needs to be done like that. But because of this whole transfer window saga craziness, there are rumors that they might just get rid of the whole transfer window in general. Did you see this?
I think I saw like one little tidbit about it, but I didn't really.
It's being talked about, attention. And the whole reason why they had transfer window in the first place was to have other leagues that needed to rebuild because of injury and whatever. Yeah. I think a big part of it was wars breaking out. It was something random like that, where like they needed to have some window to bring in players that weren't on contract in case a team had to go do something or a country had something happen to them or emergency. They needed like this window to have transfer players come in. And so it's interesting. There's talks to get rid of it after this crazy window. We'll see how much like weight is really put on that rumor. But
yeah, I mean, I think the January window's fine. Like, it just really, you just need like that financial fair play to be a much stricter, like, hard line, safeguard for this. Like, you shouldn't be able to spend this much money in January, let alone the summer window. So I don't know. Like
So dumb.
I see the use for the January window, especially for like teams in the relegation zones where it's like,
Right.
oh shit, like the first half of this season has not gone according to plan. Like we got to do something.
Yep.
So to get rid of it completely, I don't think is the answer, but yeah, you could play with it a little bit and
It
I
can
don't know,
be
limit how much you
retooled.
can spend or something. Yeah.
Yeah, could you imagine if you only like you had 150 million? How many like things would change? Chelsea wouldn't be able to do everything they just did, and would give other teams opportunities to come in for those players. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So let's go to Everton and Arsenal.
Sure. Yeah.
What do you want to talk about?
Look, this was just like the perfect storm of a poor Arsenal day.
This was a trap game.
Yeah, I mean, just before even going into it, Arsenal's like recent history away at Everton is just terrible.
Is it really?
Yeah, they've won once in the last 7 times they've gone there. So I was already just like nervous based on that. And then of course you got big Sean Dyche come in. So they already got like not only a more experienced manager, but like dude kept Burnley alive for years, you know? So it's already going to be like rough with that. And
you see his rules he made for his team?
Yeah.
Love it. Love it.
Like it's just everything just fell into place in the way that didn't help Arsenal. And then the manager of the month curse is a thing where every time Arteta has won it, the first game of the following month, they haven't won.
Wow.
Most of them have been draws, to be fair, but like here we are just stacking that on the pile now. So, you know, but like beyond all that stuff, it just, I think Arsenal maybe came into this game a little overconfident. I think just because of like table positions and performances and stuff. But they just like, they looked a little bit off the pace the whole game, like not as sharp as they typically are. And Everton was just running everywhere and closing down quickly. And, you know, every ball that went out to Saka or Martinelli, they immediately had 2 guys on them. And it's just like hard to break through. And that's kind of like the Sean Dyche team, right? Where it's like you don't break them down and then they, you know, get a header from a corner because, of course, they got the tallest defenders and the biggest dudes. And here we are.
This is easily Burnley 2.0 right now, where he's going to keep them alive. But the work rate that they were showing, you know, it's probably a little biased because we know what we're looking at now in terms of like this squad is rejuvenated with the new manager, which I totally get. They needed someone in there to kind of like kick their ass a little bit to show them they're not all that. And Onana played really freaking good.
He was everywhere.
Yeah, man, he looked awesome. He looked so fast, and for as tall and long as he is, like that was impressive.
Every tackle, he like starts the tackle like 5 feet away, and all of a sudden he still gets the ball because of his long legs and stuff.
Yeah,
man.
Arsenal, to me, they look like their shots were just crap shots. They weren't over the ball.
Yeah.
They weren't putting power onto it. You know, Trossard had a pretty good look and like just totally leaned back and just like skied it, and I was like, what the hell? Like that is not the Arsenal that we've seen this year. So that was kind of I
think just
a surprise. I think that was, they needed it.
Yeah I think just like too many players with subpar performances and probably a little bit of stubbornness from Arteta with the tactics, like with both your wingers getting like double guarded essentially instantly. Like I don't know that keeping Zinchenko in there to overload the midfield necessarily helped. Like you almost needed Tierney to then make that overlapping run to try and give Martinelli a little more space and stuff. So I think just, you know, from top to bottom, it was just not Arsenal's day. And you know, it happens. Like we're going to lose games even if we do win the title at the end of it. So, and that race is still on, but you know,
a bummer that this has to count as one of the losses against, one of the lowest teams in there.
Yeah. But, I mean, but Everton, like, if they keep playing this way, they're surviving for sure.
Yeah, no, I agree. Like, we had them in our bottom 3 a week ago, and I'm like looking at them like, I don't know now. Like, definitely rethinking some things. What'd you think of the Zinchenko, Malpe little tussle at the end there? Because to me, that was the most exciting part. Besides Tarkowski, it had to be Tarkowski. Besides that moment,
oh my gosh,
that whole Zinchenko thing was, probably a bit of frustration, but also Malpe does that. Like, that's what he does. And, like, you got to know he's going to do that.
Yeah, and I think that's, like, you watch him kind of around other Arsenal players that have played against him, and they kind of just brush him off. Like, they know that's his game. I think Zinchenko gets a little bit maybe frustrated or... I don't know. Yeah, I guess frustrated as like the game goes on and Arsenal aren't winning. So he's like trying to make things happen and rile up the team sort of thing. And then you have Malpe just come over here and just kind of egg you on a little bit and definitely trying to bait you into it. But it like some people are saying Malpe should have got a red card for bringing Zinchenko down. I was like, I don't think we need all that.
It was pretty like light. That was
yeah.
It was silly, but it wasn't like full of malice
but that's just his game. Like, he's the same guy that hurt Bern Leno, which got Emi Martinez into the team.
Right.
So
that is right. That's true.
Argentina can thank him for starting that whole domino effect. But
that's true.
Yeah, I mean, it was nothing to, like, I don't know, be up in arms about for me. It was just like typical typical action from him.
That finger pointing match though was sweet, man. I was like, it was one of those like, I'm not touching you, but like I really want to, and like both of them just like finger in the face, and I was like, come on, someone do it.
I love when he's on the ground, just like like smiling back and forth, like, I'm getting him. See,
it's ridiculous. Oh, so dumb. Fun game as a neutral, but I won't lie to you, I was not up.
I do got to say, I'm waking up at 4:30 a.m. and then to like start my day with a loss, it's a little bit rough.
Yeah, man. You haven't had a lot of those. That was only the second one, right?
Yeah.
And to do that at 4:30 in the morning, it's
a rough way to wake up.
Yeah, I can tell. I can tell right now. You're just kind of like, why did I get up for that game already? We're a day later. Yeah. Well, let's. Can we just drop right into the Man U game, because I'm all about the fight.
Sure.
Sweet. Yeah. Shout outs to Crystal Palace for never really giving up and showing fight the entire game.
Yeah, for real. Yeah, they went down with an early goal, which is never part of the plan. But
it was a handball. It's like,
those are rough. But
it was a handball though. Like,
oh, for sure. Yeah. Yeah, it's not the ideal way to start the game, but yeah, they kept pushing all game, and I think when you make a game like that a little bit more spicy and physical, it kind of plays into the losing team's hand a little bit. And then nearly made the comeback, honestly. So
we'll call Arsenal the best team in the league right now, because points don't lie. Is Man United the second best team in the league?
Yeah, I'd say probably. Like, I think your other argument could be Newcastle, but again, they draw so much. Like, they can't get the wins out of the games, where Man U is like getting those wins.
Yep.
So yeah, United's on a good run for sure, but hey, I'll take another Rashford goal for fantasy points.
I know, man. He's on a tear, dude. 10 and 10? 10 in his last 10?
I think so, yeah. Something like that.
It's got to be up there. I'll double check that as we move forward. But the Casemiro choke, that was one of the stranger things we've seen this season. I don't think that would have happened if Antony wasn't the recipient of being pushed. I think that was a national team. I'm standing up for my guy, because he had no reason to like.
No, yeah,
be like
completely
involved that
him.
heavily.
Yeah,
I was like, why is he doing that? Like, and he definitely grabbed. I don't remember who he grabbed. I'll look at the statue, but he grabbed like his collar. And I think it was it Hughes? I think it was Hughes.
Yeah, Hughes sounds right. Yeah,
he grabbed his collar and then just like migrated his hands to like this, but it wasn't like, it didn't look like he was gripping him. They were just around his neck.
I think it was more of like a kind of a push motion, I guess, but like then it just happens to be around the neck.
Then it came together.
Because I mean, even like after the fight kind of, calms down, Casemiro and Hughes are kind of, hugging it out, like pats on the back, like, yeah, we're cool.
Yeah, I think that was one of those situations where slow-mo makes everything look worse. I'm not giving him an excuse, because like you can't do that. Like, no. If I were to go do that on the street right now, I'd be in jail. So like,
yeah, and that's the thing with those big tussles. Like, you slow-mo it, you look over every frame, you can find something in there for everyone.
For everyone. But like, that one just looked the worst.
Yeah, I mean, hands to throat or face is just, you're kind of asking for it, especially in the VAR era.
I'm not surprised with how that went down. I think from the first angle that I saw, I was like, that was it, because it happened so fast, and like, and then like I sent you the freeze frame, which I think will be our podcast episode picture, where it's just like his face was like deer in headlights. What is he doing, grabbing my neck?
I mean, it added to the excitement for sure.
I love games like this. There's been all the sports I've been watching right now have been so feisty, and just like you never know what's going to happen. I don't know. You haven't been watching a lot. If you haven't been watching basketball, there were 2 crazy fights this week.
Oh, really?
One guy elbowed someone in the balls, and then he threw the ball at him. That was really sweet. And then another guy was on his team's bench, and he told another player on the court, saying like, you were better in high school than you are now. And then a freaking brawl broke out. It was crazy. And then they like chased each other down the locker room tunnels. It was like,
gosh.
I love drama. NBA seems to have the most of it, but like to see it kind of coming off in footy, like with 2 red cards this week. 2 red cards?
Yeah.
2 red cards this weekend. I don't know. It's fun. I like it. I just like when players at the end of the games are dapping each other up, which I understand. At the end of the day, they're players. They can be friends, but like I love when teams hate each other. Like I fucking hate you. I want to like
for sure,
get as close to I can to not going to jail, but like I'm going to wreck you on this field. And then like you leave it on the field, but you can still take that same energy with you. You just don't see that anymore. So to see like, I don't know, I'm not condoning Casemiro, but to see him put his hands around another person's neck. Again, they made buddies afterwards, blah, blah, blah. But the Zinchenko and Maupay situation, like, that is going to stick around.
Oh, yeah. I mean, those, like, I think what you said with this being just the Brazilian connection added to it. So. And, like, Antony himself, I think, kind of embellishes it. Because once he sees things popping off, he jumps up right away and he's in it, you know? So, like, it probably didn't need to escalate like that. But again, like we've kind of talked about before with even, the managers being more animated and stuff, like that can fire up your team. And, got Crystal Palace back into it. Granted, they had a man advantage, but,
Which shout outs, Schloop has earned nomination for Goal of the Week.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I honestly don't think there's anyone else.
I don't have anyone else. So can we agree right now that he wins Goal of the Week?
Yeah. I mean, so casual, just like little side foot outside of the foot flick, like it's like he wasn't even trying, and
it's awesome.
But it looks so good. It was cool.
Yeah, I was all for it. I can't believe it. Like it went, like the trajectory of the ball just like zipped into the goal, and that was really sweet. Can we segue this game? Because we're talking about Antony, how he just popped right back up. Can we segue this to the Newcastle and West Ham?
Yeah.
Okay, so Joe Willock with that first goal that wasn't allowed in the first 35 seconds of the game. He got a knock at the 22nd mark, had a little limp. Did you see this?
Just briefly, like I just watched the highlights, so they showed a little bit.
But. Dude, he gets knocked. I was like, oh, he's gonna get taken out of the game. Like I was like, he doesn't look good. Got the ball back, scored 15 seconds later, and then sprinting to the other side to celebrate. And I'm just like, come on, like, are you serious?
Yeah.
How do they feel okay with it deep down?
See, I don't know. Like, especially in that situation, like, just start of the game, you don't necessarily want to give your coaching staff any, any reason to maybe sub you out early, right? Like, so I don't know. Maybe he did just, feel a little sore, but not really that sore. And then, once you get the adrenaline of scoring and celebrating,
dude, it was like 10 seconds later. No, I think he was totally faking it, because when he got the ball back, he cut so hard to the left on his like shimmy shake, like pump. He like dropped his shoulder, lost the defender, cut right, and then just banged it in. And unfortunately, the ball went out. Right before that, but I was just like, come on. I was like, what a faker. But then they scored 2 minutes later on an awesome through ball.
That was nice.
That was really, really pretty. And then Newcastle has to put them away.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I know we talked about top 4 and everything, but like, look, I got the list right here. They got 10 draws now.
Is that league leading? It's gotta
be. Yeah. Your next closest is
Brentford with Brentford with 6.
9.
Oh, they have 9? Wow.
Yeah. So I mean,
for Brentford, that's great.
Oh yeah. For Brentford, that's great. And like, I don't know. I think clearly Newcastle still has some pieces in their squad makeup to change.
Yeah.
Because I mean, you've got the most clean sheets. You've allowed the fewest goals. Defensively, you're doing great.
Yeah.
Even attacking is generally pretty good. Like
they're lacking goals. Midfield. They're lacking something, and this could have been a Bruno effect. But even with Bruno in the game, he's not changing these score lines.
No,
he's helping.
I think,
but
like if you convert just half of those to wins, then instead of at 40 points, you're maybe at 55, and then you're top of the table.
Wow. Like, what's Arsenal's at 50, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, like, yes, you're having a good season, especially considering where Newcastle has been in recent years, but clearly still, plenty of room to grow and just build a better team. But they're on a good trajectory. So
yeah, and then West Ham, kudos to them, never giving up. But Newcastle, that was their game to win, and for whatever reason, they decided not to.
I mean, the defending for Paqueta, what, I don't know.
I think everyone from every different country has a different saying for his name.
Yeah,
the announcer definitely said Paqueta.
Yeah. So I don't know. We're going Paqueta.
Yeah, we'll roll.
I'm going Paqueta at least, but the defending for his goal was just terrible. Like they just let the ball fly through and let the guy take a touch and then shoot. And it's like, who's on the guy? He's a back post. Someone should be there.
If we had to choose celebrations for the week, he wins this week. Did you see it?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, it was pretty. I don't know. It was a pretty sweet flip. I was like, oh, I didn't know he could. I didn't know he had that in him. Honestly,
I feel like a lot of these guys go home and after training, they got the rest of the day. It's like, let me learn how to flip real quick.
Yeah, when are they practicing this? And if they ever did this on the pitch, their coach would probably be like, "What are you doing?
Yeah,
don't do that."
The like medical team is like, please don't flip.
Stop.
Like, you do that wrong one time and it can be devastating. Like,
neck snapping, please stop right now, Paqueta. I got nothing more there. But speaking of injury, God, our segues today are just beautiful.
Moving right through. Yeah.
Segue to Brentford and Southampton. Ben Mee's head clash on his goal scoring opportunity. Not saying I would have been a great soccer player in my life, but that is a main reason why I was never gung-ho to go up for headers, because
fair.
Oh my Lord, that looked miserable.
Oh yeah. I mean, any of those ones, like that one, the
it hurts my head.
Jimenez and David Luiz, like those things are scary. And you see it in American football and stuff, like guys that get hit real hard in the head and like they're out, and they have protective gear, and these guys are out here with nothing, and so like every little hit is just terrible.
I watched it in slow-mo, I watched it in high speed, and every time I cringed. I almost cringed more for the defender that was on him, because
I think he got it worse.
He went to his knees and just like grabbed his head and looked like he was in pure shock. And like, head injuries freak me out so much. But great goal, towered over him.
Power header.
Dude, amazing. So shout outs. If we're going to do a player of the week this week, can we just make it the Burnley Bros and do Dyche, Tarkowski, and me?
I like it. Yeah, because I didn't really have anyone.
I didn't either, but I'm like, the fact that the Burnley brothers came together, both had goals, and their old coach got his first win with Everton. That's pretty sweet. That's a good, like, I don't see anyone else. The Burnley Bros, man. I don't see anyone else super deserving. If anything, it probably would have been Neves with the Wolves or Saw, but I think context there for Everton getting their win, and me kind of putting that defense on his back and just being the old man. I mean, besides Thiago Silva, me is, I gotta say, probably one of the oldest starting center backs in the league right now. I know there's probably some around his age, but like nothing's shouting out to me saying there's someone older.
I think
Dunk is up there.
Tim Ream.
Okay, Ream is 35, I believe.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, Ben Mee, I think, is right around there too. I don't know, Willy Bolly. He's been around a long time, but I don't know if he's actually older or if he's just been in the league for a while.
I want to say Bully's 31, just off the top of my head. But again, I'm not saying he is the oldest. I'm just saying he's a dude that's been around, and the fact he's leading this team of youngsters. Bully's 32, leading this team of youngsters into the limelight, and with that victory, 3-0, put him away. And I get it's Southampton, but they put him away. Sitting 7th right now, one spot out of Europa, and only 6 points down from Tottenham. And they have a game to go. They're one game down, so they could potentially be sitting at 35 points after this next week, and I mean that's 15 away from the top of the table.
Yeah, I mean that's a great spot, for. I think this is only their second season since getting promoted. So you're doing great. You're surviving clearly, and any spending they're doing it wisely, and just making the right picks. Ben Mee is, I mean, you've seen him for years at Burnley before this, and between him and Tarkowski back there, it was hard to break them down, and now we're kind of seeing that it was together they were great. Separately, they can still kind of bring that same organization and defensive, just wall.
The combos of Tarkowski and Cody and Pinnock and me are I think coaches love that. So, shout outs to Brentford for keeping the dream alive. And when Tony doesn't have to score, that's always a good sign.
Yeah. Yeah, I was didn't watch the game live, but saw the final result and assumed Tony would be on the score sheet, and I was surprised to not see him there. But then, that's kind of a good sign of a functioning team, to get goals from multiple players and from all parts of the pitch, not just relying on Tony to provide anything. Because then if he has an off day, well, you're out of luck. So.
Yeah,
they're making good moves.
He was still able to flirt. I mean, he was in these types of games, I like to describe him as having gravity. he was pulling defenders to him, which allowed everyone else to flourish. When he tries to do too much, those defenders are already on him where he doesn't dish the ball off. So, I think this is a team chemistry thing that they've built up, and now I would love to be in their spot right now is what I'm trying to say. So perfect segue. I'm here to vent, Chad. I'm here to
cool.
vent.
Yeah, let it out. Like you said at the top of the show, it's therapy right now. So
it's time to crack. Okay.
Yeah, you're gonna need it for this one.
The Wolves, Chad.
The Wolves.
How many goals the Wolves have scored this year?
Low teens.
Before yesterday, they had 12.
Okay, well,
they scored 25% of their goals against us. They've played 20 games.
Yeah, that's
we're awful. I had someone say to me this past week, my team is terrible. I was like, they're not terrible. I'm like, they're learning. They're growing. We've done all that. We have grown. We have learned.
Yeah.
We have won.
Yeah.
Now we're terrible.
Yeah. It's hard to know what to say now. Like, because we kind of every week, right? It's not always this bad, but it's been bad. Like,
I got some stats for you, Chad.
Oh, good, give them me.
Liverpool now has more losses this season than in the past 3 seasons combined.
I too wrote that down.
Thanks. Glad we can both be here to share this information with the world. Who's the top leading goal scorer for Liverpool this year? Did you write this one down too? For 2023?
No. Just 23?
Yeah.
Have you scored any goals?
Our top goal scorer is Wout Fizz from Leicester with 2.
No way! Oh my gosh!
I'm almost crying, Chad.
That's a great deal for Liverpool. I mean, wow, spend nothing on the guy and
embarrassing. That's our only victory, I believe.
Sheesh.
Yeah, the last 6, I guess the last 5 of the 2023 season, we went win, loss, draw, loss. I put this kid up here because we no longer want Jude. We fucking need Jude.
We
want Jude. We fucking need Jude. We
Please.
need him. Because watching Klopp turn around after I think it was the second goal the Wolves had. I don't know. I kind of blacked out. Honestly, I was just like, we're fucked. Like, I think I went downstairs at the 60th minute and said, like, I'm going to start writing my paper because that is more exciting than this game right now. Klopp turned around and was super animated to Henderson and Milner. And Milner and Henderson were just like arms crossed like this, just looking at Klopp like, yeah, what do you want us to do about it? We're freaking 37 and 34 years old, and we're not even in this game. And like, at this point, like, put them in there. Like, if we're gonna lose 3-0, like, why not have your senior guys on the team who can at least, like, I don't know.
Well, that's kind of what I was
shout at them a little bit more.
Yeah, I was gonna kind of like ask you about. It was like, clearly someone or multiple people need to step up and like kind of lead this team, kind of make, I don't know, step up and do something. Like, it's not happening right now, clearly. Like, Van Dijk's a big loss in the back for sure. Salah's had an off year, but he's also not really had his normal strike partnership up top. So, like, I get it. And the midfield has, like, been the problem area for Liverpool for a little bit now. Like, it's been known. And granted, there's the whole ownership deal going on. So, like, money's not getting spent when they desperately need it. But, like, someone's got to get in this team. And, like, one of the players, like, not Klopp, has to just, like, step up and, I don't know, like, get people to throw together a decent performance.
I'm worried Klopp is not going to make it through this season. Not because I think of a firing. I think he just might see like, ooh, like this is not going to go upwards. And maybe that's a big reason why he didn't spend anything. Maybe he told management saying, hey, like, I think this could be my, I hope not. But just after watching this, like, abysmal performance, granted, no Diaz, no Konate, no Jota, no Firmino, no Van Dijk.
Yeah, the injury list is long.
Like, it sucks. And like a lot of those guys would be playing, especially Firmino, who's having a fantastic start to this year. I don't know. It's pretty awful to watch.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a rough year for Liverpool, but you want to try and manage that a little bit, so like you don't scare Klopp away, you don't scare players away. Like some of these players will just age out, and that's fine, but you also need to show a little bit of maybe not progress every year, but at least a little bit of stability, right? Where it's like, when Arteta came into Arsenal, squad's kind of a mishmash of old, young players and just like not the players he wanted, but like, they bottomed out at 8th, which is like not where Arsenal want to be, but it's not a terrible spot, right? Like the performances for the most part were okay, or you could at least see what Arteta was trying to get the team to do, right? Whereas like I feel like Liverpool this season is just it's kind of hard to say though, because there are so many injuries, so like we don't know exactly what Liverpool would have been this season.
Bro, I feel like I'm in therapy right now.
And how does that make you feel?
You just need stability in your life.
Well, but I mean, yeah, like
I'm not disagreeing in any way. It's like it's just comical at this point to see our leading goal scorer a month into the 2023 season. It's from a player from another team.
Yeah,
from own goals. Like what?
Yeah.
How?
That's what I'm saying. Like Henderson, or Milner, and like the older guys, just you got to band together and I don't know, have the emergency like come together meeting that you hear about teams doing, and
closed door locker room session.
Yeah, just like
no coaches.
We don't need to be the prolific Liverpool of past seasons right now, but we can at least beat the frickin' Wolves. Like, not allow them to score 3 goals on you too. I mean, come on.
Seeing Ruben Neves score that 3rd goal and knowing that was a target for them, like, that was awesome run. Like,
well, yeah, good goal, but like the defending on that was just everyone just let him run through.
It was pretty bad. It's especially knowing that we wanted him at some point and we almost made 0 push to go get him during the transfer window, which I bet, price might have been steep, but what are we doing? We're not doing it. We didn't do anything.
Yeah.
I mean, it was Gakpo, and that's something we didn't necessarily need.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. You just... There's no like good answer for this season. It's hope that Klopp sticks around because he wants to, and hope players don't get kind of scared off of Liverpool. Like you do want to get Jude Bellingham, but if he watches Liverpool this season and then like sees, I don't know, morale low and all this stuff, and then Man U and
City,
all these big teams that are going to be in for him, like you got to still entice him a little bit, which I guess you got the easy selling point of like you're literally playing every single game. So
I mean, he'd be the man.
Yeah, for sure. So which it could work, like, then build the team around him, and hopefully next year injuries don't creep up again like this year, but you got to be able to manage that a little bit better too, I think. Like your depth can't be such a big gap that you lose key players, and then now this is your season.
We didn't even spend that much. I mean, like we didn't really do much this whole last year.
Yeah.
So it's just, Nunez was the big one, which has been a letdown. A letdown. Yeah, that's to say it really nicely. Well, I'm gonna stop right there. I don't know. Shout outs to women's Liverpool because they won this weekend, and I want to know. I want to know what that feels like. Yeah, we can move on.
You feeling a little bit better?
Yeah, I feel okay. I just need to vent a little. Champions League in a week and a half. Maybe we just go all in on that because, this is a wash. Because not even a wash. It's not going to end well. So let's go all out there.
Yeah, at this point, clearly the league is over, right? You're not going to win it. You're shooting for Champions League positions at this point.
That almost feels too far gone.
It is a little bit of a gap, but
you never know. But
yeah. That being the case, why not just, if you're gonna rally the guys around something, have it be Champions League and
the Wolves, Chad, the Wolves.
Well, hopefully this was the wake up call. I feel like we've said that for a few weeks.
No, I don't know, man. I thought Brighton was the wake-up call, or the Wolves when they barely beat them in the cup, or the draw. The Brighton. Remember the Brighton loss when they lost 3-0 against Brighton? I thought that was the one.
Yeah, well, Brighton's flying high these days, so.
Yeah. Okay, I'm good.
Okay, let's go into the Brighton game then.
Yeah, segue.
Because if Liverpool do want to spend money, they should look at Matoma. That guy, 4 goals in 5 matches since the new year. I know they got a lot of attackers already, but
why not one more?
Yeah, this guy's healthy, so
why not just one more? Yeah, he's pretty awesome.
Yeah,
he scores with his feet. He scores with his head. He puts the ball where he wants.
His dribbles too. Yeah, he's a force to be reckoned with, and so far he's doing it against all the teams he comes up against. And. That's kind of Brighton as a whole right now. They've been pretty exciting to watch, and I think this game they probably struggled more than they should have. But if you can get a win out of the games where you're struggling, then you're doing pretty good.
Potter must be kicking himself, right?
I don't know. He's probably getting paid a lot more than he was at Brighton, so he might be okay.
I remember he said, it's not about the money, it's about the legacy. I'm like, dude, well, the legacy of Brighton right now is looking pretty sweet, especially this year when he could have played it out. And it makes me wonder if their coach is. It just makes me wonder what he is either doing differently than Potter, or he's literally doing the exact same thing that Potter installed in this team. To where he doesn't have to do much.
Yeah.
We don't know. There's no way of really knowing.
And I think the method of coaching probably gets a little bit different between a team at Brighton's level and a team at Chelsea's level, historically at their levels. Whereas Brighton players are, kind of your dunks where they're older but have been there and are experienced, or your kind of younger up and coming ones like the Matomas and March and Trossard when he was there. He was there for a few years and kind of grew each season. So I think it's probably easier to maybe motivate and maybe even coach those kind of teams where it's you're always kind of punching up, and it's kind of easy to get that underdog mentality. Whereas at Chelsea, you got guys coming in for stupid money and making stupid money. So you got the ego now to deal with. I don't know. Maybe he's not cut out for the big top team kind of jobs. He doesn't have that kind of coaching ability.
Okay, so hypothetically, Chelsea says, "Yeah, no, we're not doing this Potter thing. We're getting Mourinho in here next year." Which, would it surprise you? It wouldn't surprise me.
No, I don't think so. I think
it'd be pretty sweet. Imagine Mourinho back at Chelsea again.
Mourinho, as he's gotten older, has gotten just even more funny, and he's almost everyone's uncle now, right? Just
Did you see? Sorry, did you see he made his team take a picture after they lost?
That's what I'm saying. Like he used to be the mind games kind of guy, and now he's just like pure vibes kind of guy, and like does whatever he wants at this point. And I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. I feel like with a Todd Bowley there spending money, like someone will put in his ear of like, yo, Mourinho was here and he won us a league and a Champions League and stuff. And it's like, oh yeah, let's get that guy then.
Or Conte.
Oh,
I know, right? Because I could see Conte going there too, if this whole Tottenham thing isn't going to work.
I really feel like Conte's next stop is going to be Juventus.
Wouldn't surprise me, but also I think it would depend on what Chelsea are willing to throw at him. If they're saying 2 years championship, then you can bounce again.
Yeah.
So that's what.
Well, I mean, honestly, I think any top manager would be okay with going to Chelsea because, like, they see what they're spending. So you can kind of go in and be like, these are the players I want. And they say, got them.
Yep.
So, I don't know. Conte,
Okay.
Mourinho.
That's all just hypotheticals for Potter not being there. Now, Potter, if he doesn't end up at Chelsea next year, we talked about him, being that Brighton type of manager. What team do you think he could possibly jump to who's maybe a Brighton-like team? I'm looking just down the table here to see what managers are kind of locked in, and I feel like if Jesse Marsch doesn't work at Leeds, the Potter experiment could happen there. Do you have a nomination?
I was kind of looking at Leicester. Like they've definitely been better than they started the season, but I still don't think Rodgers is like fully on board.
He looked happy last. He looked happy on this game, but you're right.
He's looking happier, but I mean, I think he was really hoping to get fired and just take his severance pay and move on. But a Leeds, a Leicester. I think those two would be your best options. Maybe like a West Ham, like because they should be better than they are right now. And
see, okay, we're gonna put it in pen and ink. Potter leaves Chelsea. He goes to Leeds. Marsch, he comes and coaches United States national team. Rodgers goes to Tottenham. Conte goes to Chelsea.
Yeah, all right.
I don't know. I didn't really want an answer, but I'm just saying, like, if we're talking hypotheticals on who's going to move around, I don't see Rodgers going to a team that's in the bottom right now. He's never done that.
No.
So that's what would throw me off, rather than Potter, who's been at the bottom and like worked his way up every year.
Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of why I was like Leicester, West Ham, where it's like they're not necessarily bottom teams. And like they generally perform better than they have this season, so like they have good parts. But I mean, Leeds, I think, is probably your most exciting prospect out of those.
So young.
Yeah, young, like full of energy, and they have a lot of potential, I guess. And like Potter was able to get a lot out of those Brighton players, so he probably could do that with the Leeds team as well.
How many leagues below Premier League is Wrexham right now? I see. I know we're like on spoiler alert because I've been trying not to watch them. Very low. Like,
so it's Premier League.
Yep.
Championship, League One, League Two, National League, where they're at. I think
they're still there.
I think that's where it goes. Yeah. So. I don't really follow them too closely either, just because like I want the show to be a little bit of a
surprise.
Yeah.
Right.
But as far as I've heard from just watching that like FA Cup, they are doing well this season, so they've got a long way to go for sure. But
it's cool to see their name though. Cool to see them up there. Okay, we have touched on everything but the Forest Leeds game, which, okay game for me.
Yeah, I think the highlight there is just Keylor Navas has a good debut.
It's cool to see him in Premier League.
Yeah. I think as much as the Chelsea transfers got talked about, like the Keylor Navas one was probably one of the best, smartest ones that was made during January.
The fact he wanted to go there is what makes that so much cooler and like motivating for that team to see a guy who's just been around. That guy's he's been around for a long time and like done something at the highest of levels. So
and I mean it'll be interesting to see when Dean Henderson comes back. I don't think he'll play. Like
I don't think he'll get in
unless Navas like starts to fall off a cliff.
Yeah,
then it'll probably switch, but. I mean, Dean Henderson's been good, but you're no Keylor Navas.
That's right. Leeds kind of disappointed. I was really hoping they'd come out. And but
it kind of looked like more of the same. Which run down, get to the opponent's penalty box. I don't know. What do we do with it? All right, that's it.
They need, they need more. I think they'll hang on, but I thought they would maybe draw Forest. So I don't know. Bottom of the table is just going to get real spicy here, especially with Everton coming alive.
I mean, it's already tight, and then, West Ham's draw today was big, but it's
Leeds might be in trouble.
Yeah, it's just so tight at the bottom there.
Leeds might be in trouble.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll see. Southampton, I feel like made good signings in January, so if they can get them up and running pretty quickly, then.
And the Wolves shouldn't be in 15th.
No, for sure. Wolves have a better squad than 15th for sure. But
oh my God, it's crazy. Yeah. Okay. Tottenham City.
Bogey team for City.
I thought Tottenham was going to lose, even though they were winning.
Did you?
Yeah, man. I just classic Tottenham bottling.
Can I give you a stat?
Oh, please do.
So since Tottenham have built this new stadium, Man City's played them there 5 times.
Okay.
Never won.
Get out of here.
They've taken 84 shots, never scored a goal.
That's insane.
So Tottenham at home is truly the bogey team for City.
I'm sorry, how many games?
5 matches at the new stadium, no wins.
Any draws?
Know about draws.
Okay.
I don't know about, but definitely no out and out wins. And then 84 total shots, 0 goals.
That's pretty ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, and so 5 matches, so that's the stadium's been there, I don't know, 2-3 years at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Like the City teams of past seasons have been just as good, if not better, than this team. Like,
for sure.
And to be shut out and not get 1 win in there, like,
oh, have they scored?
No. No.
Yeah. Cool your jets. Not even 1? That's crazy.
Not even 1. Yeah.
Where'd you see that stat?
As one of the Opta stats that I follow on Twitter.
What the hell? That is ridiculous.
Yeah.
I had no idea that was the type of mental block that City has been having at that stadium. Wow, now I'm going to be paying attention to whenever they go there because that is fascinating. I mean, Tottenham was the better team today. I don't know if they were the better team by much, but they were better.
I didn't think they looked like for sure winners at any point, but I mean, City I think just couldn't really get into their flow and couldn't. Yeah, they couldn't really get anything going. Which, I mean, to be fair, Tottenham was committing a lot of fouls. Like Grealish got fouled 7 times.
Yeah, a ton. He was getting
so I get that. Maybe that was part of their strategy of just stop the game as much as possible and ruin the flow and all that, which is, I guess, a fair enough strategy. teams do it. But yeah, I mean, you would think this City team could get something going. Haaland had 0 touches in the penalty box.
That's
so
okay. My thing about Haaland right now is he needs to get the ball and go. He's been trying to find so many headers where he dishes the off, like give and go style. I want to see him take the ball and say, I'm gonna push little kids off of me and get to either inside the 18, outside the 18, wherever he's got to go. He can physically get there. For some reason, he doesn't want to do that on one specific play. Go ahead.
I was going to say, I think it's being coached that way.
I think it is too.
I think Pep's like sometimes managers will get this little thing of, this is how the game will work. We do this play, we will score. And like, I think that's what we're seeing, where it's always, Haaland kind of floats in the middle to the back post and they cross it in for him to head it or kick it in. And like, granted, it has worked 25 times or whatever we're at now. But like I saw a few times this game even where he starts to make really good runs and just either people don't see him or they just ignore the run. But like the dude has got the pace and the physicality to get that ball, bring it down, and at least get a threatening shot off. And they aren't feeding him.
Pep has always had short strikers who need to do give and go style plays. Granted, not a lot of managers have had a 6'5" striker. You have Zlatan. You have Balotelli, who wasn't 6'5", but still a very big striker.
Yeah.
You have Mario Gomez from Bayern way back in the day. Yeah. There's dudes out there who played this position. We'll go Peter Crouch. Do you think Peter Crouch was doing give and goes, or do you think he was already sitting there like waiting, saying, "Get me the ball"? I understand, very different player, different style of pace, but I'm just saying, like, you have to play around the player sometimes and not the system. And Pep has always had a system where it's tiki-taka. It's we're gonna go ping, 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 and find you rather than, hey, use your brute force to straight up just like plow through people.
Yeah. I think he's struggling to find a balance between that now because I think this game especially, they clearly still want to do their like tiki-taka, pass it all the way up sort of thing, which is cool, but like they're doing it too slow now.
Yeah.
Whereas like they're, especially a team like Tottenham, where it's like when they're defending, they defend like a pretty tight block, and if you give them time to all get back and get in position, then breaking that down is almost impossible. So like finding the balance of the quick passes, but then knowing that Haaland he's making that run. Like he's always going to make the run. Do quick couple passes on the sides or through the middle and then just feed him. Like it doesn't have to be this work it all the way up and, get the perfect cross in every time. Just
it's too much work for what's trying to happen.
Yeah. Just let the kid play. Feed him the ball, and like you said, it's just going to run some kids over.
It's so easy. This is a while ago, dude. That one game when like he did get the ball, he turned and he literally just like brushed off someone, and it was like comical. I'm like, I haven't seen that in a while, and he's hungry for it. He's got to be hungry for it. No World Cup this year. He wants it. I'm skeptical that there's a little bit of a Portuguese bias here, where we saw Cancelo have whatever happened there. We will probably never know. Bernardo Silva wanted out. He didn't get let out. He started today. Nothing special from him, and I'm not surprised by that. I mean, we didn't see Gundogan play. We saw Gundogan get subbed in at the 84th for Silva, and then KDB get subbed in at the 60th minute. So, like, City wasn't playing their true 11 per se. But
why not?
I don't know. I don't know why they did that. I don't know why today, because Champions League is coming, I guess. Like, that would be my only thought, but
I guess.
And they knew they weren't going to beat the Spurs at home. Now that we kind of know the background. Who do you think had more touches this game?
teams.
Yeah.
I feel like City probably still had more touches.
Want to guess by how many?
We'll go 150.
Tottenham had this is going to say a lot. Tottenham had 478 touches, okay, which by average, most games we look at, I think if both teams are even, 550 to 600 is probably like a good 50-50 game. City has 746. So City didn't really change much of what they do.
No.
Tottenham didn't really change much of what they do. Look at their heat map. It is kind of silly looking. Lots of red in their own goal box. Their attacking end, I know I'm making hand gestures here, so the ones listening, it looks like this on the offensive side, like a couple green spots like this. And then City's red spots are like this on the attacking side.
Yeah.
Fat, huge. So this was a game that City, again, like they controlled the game, at least in terms of touches, and did what they wanted with the ball. I think Tottenham had good discipline, but, shout outs for Sammy for seeing that frustration was coming from Romero. And I think we all kind of saw at least like, someone might go down here. Yeah. Dude's pretty reckless. He's been reckless for weeks. So this was kind of long overdue.
He's definitely made a handful of tackles where it's like he should have got a yellow and didn't.
I know.
And I mean, this game finally caught up with him, which is nice to see. But
about time.
I mean, I don't know. It's just like, even for the goal that Kane scored, like City's playing out of the back like they always do, but their pass choice for like 3 passes straight was just terrible. Like, you're passing to guys that are not only like under pressure because Tottenham's pressing you, but like they're pretty much covered. Like, they had a split second to make the pass, and then I think it was Rodri that makes the final pass to I don't know, it might have been Alvarez or someone. But like the lane he passed through is already tight, and then Alvarez or whoever received the ball or was supposed to receive the ball is like clearly being closed down by Tottenham like right away, and you give the ball away there, you're pretty much giving away the goal. You're right at the top of the box.
I mean, just looking at the depth chart of what City did today, this team isn't like the strongest they've ever put out. No Stones, no KDB or Gundogan to start, no Foden. So like they definitely are kind of, and then the double striker tandem of Alvarez and Holland. I understand why you'd want to do that because those are 2 young, good strikers, but I don't know. It kind of clusters what Holland is trying to do. So maybe he's trying to like. We haven't seen Holland be like the alpha. This is my team, which he easily could do that, and maybe that's because he's just getting his footing in. And there's a lot of people that have been there already, been with that squad for a while. But man, if I were him, I'd be like, look at me. Like,
he needs to
I'm
enter
huge.
his Zlatan era. Like,
I mean, dude, peak Zlatan on this team would be stupid.
Oh but like with the whole like Cancelo thing that happened, I'm wondering if there's like a little bit more turmoil inside the squad than we would have expected. Because I mean, if his whole like Man City career fell apart over like 4 weeks, there's got to be other players that are frustrated, maybe not to the same extent, but
you say 4 weeks, I think like 3 days.
Well, I mean,
I think this happened really fast. We heard nothing about this. Why weren't other teams like all of a sudden? I woke up the next morning and go, Cancelo got transferred. Like no one. I don't know. We look at news pretty often. Did not see that one coming. Maybe it was a few weeks. Maybe it was. He wasn't. I understand he wasn't in the starting lineup, but that happened like. Maybe frustration built after a couple weeks, but he didn't really give them an option. It seemed like from our side of things, it was just like boom, it happened, it's done.
It was definitely out of nowhere for us, but I mean, from just that happening, like And then not starting De Bruyne today feels a little bit weird. Like, I don't think you would necessarily save him for Champions League, outright like that.
Was De Bruyne? God, I feel like it's been so long since Premier League has happened. But was it a couple of weeks ago? By a week and a half ago, when De Bruyne didn't show up for training because he was somewhere else. He was at like a birthday party or something, but people thought he was injured. Do you remember this?
No.
Okay. I'll have to go back in my notes and kind of see what happened. But he missed training for a day, but apparently he was away with family doing something. But now I'm like, was he really with family, or was he like, I need some time away from this team because I don't like what's happening?
And
speculation.
It could be one of those things where, like, by all accounts, City's training and stuff is like pretty intense. Like, Pep is pretty intense. Whereas like as a younger player, I think you typically like that and can work with it. But I think as you maybe get older and let more experience, like, and have been at the club for a few years, like, it maybe just gets a little bit tiring and and then you maybe act out, and then Pep doesn't start you for a few games, and then here you are, João Cancelo, like, I gotta leave. I can't do it here anymore. I don't know, but I think that Cancelo move shows there are definitely some cracks in that team that might be a little bit bigger than we're led to believe.
Yep, I'm all for it. Shout outs Grealish though. I think this is like kind of the few times I've watched him play, I'm like, oh, like, he exists on this team. Like, he's actually like, he's still a really good player, and
he's been looking better the past few times I've seen him. I think they haven't really found that balance of how to play the style that Pep wants to play and how to like fully utilize Haaland, which sounds crazy because he's already scored so much, but
stupid. Let me have him.
We do need to shout out Harry Kane though. With his goal today. He joins the 200 Premier League goals scored club. Do you know who's above him? There's two above him.
I do. Shearer and Rooney.
Do you know how many goals they got?
I don't, but I'm gonna guess.
Okay, go for it.
Shearer's in first, correct?
Yeah.
Kane is at 200, right? That's what it was.
200.
200.
Yeah.
Okay. Shearer's at 267.
That is one of the numbers, but not
is
for
Rooney.
This.
Oh, what? I wonder where I saw 267. Is that for one club?
Yeah, so that's Kane's,
Newcastle.
No,
Kane,
with
Tottenham.
Tottenham record. So yeah, he also became Tottenham's record goal scorer today. So,
but this is just strictly Premier League.
Yeah.
Am I close?
You are very close.
Okay, Shearer is I'm just trying to put ages here. 277.
No, you gotta go the other way.
I thought so. 256.
260 for sure.
All right. And Rooney, I think he has 239.
208.
Oh, only 208?
Only 208. So, I mean, Kane's 29 right now. I think he definitely passes Rooney.
Yeah, for sure. Maybe this season.
Yeah, like, does he catch Shearer? Probably, because let's say he takes a Ronaldo and Messi kind of like length of career. He's got another 5, 6, 7-ish years in him to get 60 goals.
He should get it.
I think so, especially if he does end up going to like a Man United or something.
Yeah.
I think he should meet that. And at this point, like, that might be kind of your career goal, right? Like, trophies have not been a thing for you.
Right.
You want to leave some sort of legacy. So, like, you're already now Tottenham's record goal scorer, but like 60 goals, while is a lot, spread over, another 5, 6, 7 years, sounds doable, and might be enough to kind of light that fire for that last part of his career. And see him still perform.
This is just for all Premier League players, not English nationalities, right?
I believe it's all Premier League players.
Okay, I think so. Because I'm just thinking of like players who've had crazy seasons, but like they weren't in the Premier League for the entire rest. Okay, how many years till Haaland breaks this record? 5, 6.
Yeah, already like 20 deep.
Yeah, we keep it consistent. That's what. I mean, hypothetically, say he scores 30 this year. That's
30 this year.
That's 8 seasons.
That's pretty good.
Well, I'm sorry. To 200, that's 6.5 seasons.
I mean, yeah. So Holland's definitely got it in him.
If he stays for,
If he stays, yeah. Which, I don't know. We'll see what happens with him, but today was not his day.
No, that's a cool record though. 200 goals for anything. Yeah. Shout outs, Kane. Shout outs.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. Any other games that we need to talk about?
No, we did it. We did it. Next game is Wednesday. Man U against Leeds. And then we got a weekend full of games. Hopefully a bounce back for Arsenal. And it would be nice if Liverpool can get a little bounce back. They play Everton next Monday. So another trap game. Should be fun.
It's at home, though, for Liverpool, which I think will be in their favor.
They've always done well against Everton at home. Such a fun game. But if they lose that game, oh, boy.
Panic. Absolute panic mode.
Not looking forward to it. West Ham, Chelsea. Okay. Southampton, Wolves. Fun fight for the bottom. Leicester, Tottenham. I smell upset.
Ooh.
Okay. Arsenal, Brentford, though. That's going to be fun.
Yeah, I think so. Unfortunately,
yeah. Newcastle, Bournemouth. We can actually see if Newcastle can do anything.
Should be easy. But...
Oh, United and Leeds play each other twice next week.
Do they really?
They play on Wednesday, February 8th, and then the 12th. Yeah, that's crazy. I'm like, City? Nope, says United, and then City Villa. So yeah, next week should be actually there's a couple of games in there that I'll be watching. And then we have, I know we're so far out. We're gonna have a whole nother podcast, right? Then we got Arsenal City in the following week, but that's the one we've been circling that one for a while. So
yeah, it's coming.
Yeah, that should be good. Should be good. Yeah. All right, goal of the week. We're doing
Schlupp. Gotta be Schlupp.
Schlupp. Team of the week?
Team of the week. I went Everton just because they had been so poor for so long, and not only got the win, but got the win against league leaders. So
yeah, you can't beat that. The Burnley, and then we'll go Burnley Bros as the
Burnley Bros
the player, and I'm gonna do it. We're gonna do Daesh, Tarkowski, and me.
I like it
because we're not gonna ever be able to do that again. Probably where both those guys score and their manager wins. So sweet, man. Okay, that was awesome. Anything else to say before we hit our hour and 20-minute mark?
Yeesh, long one.
Good one. Always fun.
No, yeah. I think I feel better about this week after talking about it. Honestly, it wasn't as rough for me as it was for you, but I feel better.
You feel good? I feel like. I mean, we're at the floor. We're. I don't know what else we can do to possibly go lower. Losing to Everton will suck, but I'm already down there, so it's not gonna suck more.
It can only go up.
Just don't. You know that meme of that guy talking? He's like, we're back, we're fucking back, and then the next week he's like, we're shit. That's how I don't want to go through that anymore. I just want to be shit, or I want to be we're actually decent again. So it's
just gotta own it. Yeah.
This tease of we're good again. I don't want that in my life. We're bottom. Just accept it. Okay, Chad. Episode 23.
Yeah, done and done.
Another in the books. Hooligans pitch. We're out.
See you later.